Coming up today on Red Sox Digest, a look at the highlights from last night's Red Sox loss to the Oakland A's. The A's played long ball against Bruce Hurst. And we'll take a look at the highlights from the rest of last night's Major League Baseball action, including the Yankees' victory over the Texas Rangers in New York. All that and much more coming up today on Red Sox Digest. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Red Sox Digest on the New England Sports Network. I'm Sean McDonough. Today it's Game 2 of a 3-game series between the Red Sox and the Oakland A's from Oakland's Alameda County Coliseum. The Sox trying to get back on the winning track today. They've lost 4 out of 5 since the All-Star break, and today they'll send right-hander Tom Seaver to the mound. Seaver is 2-1 since joining the Red Sox, 4-7 overall this season. He'll be opposed by right-hander Joaquin Andujar. Andujar has been bothered by some injuries this year. He's 5-2, and in his only previous start against Boston, he beat the Sox, throwing a complete Game 5 hitter in a ball game at Fenway Park and a 4-1 Oakland win on May 2nd. Let's go to the highlights now from last night's Major League Baseball action. When you think about league leaders in home runs, the name Mike Pagliarulo wouldn't ordinarily come to mind, but the young man from Medford is now tied for the Major League lead in round trippers with Oakland's Jose Canseco and Toronto's Jesse Barfield. And Pags helped power the Yankees past the Texas Rangers last night. Bottom of the first, Yankees already up 1-0 on a Ricky Henderson home run, and Pags makes it a 4-0 game as he drills his 23rd home run. A 3-run shot into the bleachers off Texas starter Bobby Witt. 7th inning, Yanks leading 7-4, and Mike Easler gets into the act, clubbing his 8th home run, a solo shot to give the Yankees their margin of victory in an 8-4 win. The AL scoreboard, the Yankees win. Kansas City tops Baltimore 6-1. The Tribe by 3 over Chicago. Viola and the Twins stone Detroit 1-0. The Brewers over the Angels, and Bell and Barfield hit 2 homers each. Toronto beats up on Seattle. National League. Steve Carlton and the Giants in St. Louis. Carlton with an early 3-run homer, but Willie McGee hits his second of 2 home runs, this coming in the 4th inning. It ties the game at 3 as the Cardinals go on to an 8-3 win. But it wasn't an enjoyable night for everyone in St. Louis. Watch the guy in white behind the screen. The foul ball gets him right on the noggin. We certainly hope that gentleman is okay. With the loss, the Giants drop to 2nd in the NL West because in Houston, a wild one goes to the bottom of the 9th. Jeff Reardon facing Houston's Jose Cruz. The score tied, and Cruz rips his 4th hit of the night to score Denny Walling with the game winner. The Astros are back in first place with an 8-7 win over Montreal. The Giants, as you saw, lost to St. Louis. The Mets 4-2 winners over the Reds. Mike Schmidt's 2-run single in the 9th gives Philly a 3-1 win over Atlanta. The Cubs top San Diego 6-1. Coming up, we'll take a look at the highlights from last night's Red Sox loss to the A's in Oakland, and we'll bring you up to date on the standings in the American League when Red Sox Digest continues. Welcome back to Red Sox Digest this afternoon from Oakland Alameda County Coliseum. It's Game 2 of a 3-game series between the Red Sox and the Oakland A's. It will be Tom Seaver on the mound against Joaquin Andujar. Last night, Bruce Hurst returned to action after being sidelined for more than a month and a half with a groin injury. But the left-hander who stole the show was the A's' Kurt Young. Here's Eric Reed.
After dropping 3 of 4 in Seattle, the Sox hobbled into Oakland for the start of a 3-game set with the last-place A's of the AL West. And after 7 weeks of inactivity, Bruce Hurst was back for Boston, and he started well, fanning Jose Canseco to finish a 1-2-3 first inning. But trouble ahead for the left-hander in the second, one out, and Carney Lansford will crank one to the gap in left center. Back goes Romine, who makes the grab. He'll hold it for 2 strides, then cough it up upon hitting the wall. So Lansford on with a standing triple, setting up Dusty Baker in a play at home plate.
Baker to third. They're coming home. Throws it away.
1-0 on the Sullivan era, and it stayed that way until Dave Kingman came to bat in the fourth.
Uh-oh. Hard to left field. Will this one hook? Home run, Kingman.
2-zip A's, and after a couple of walks, Hurst got stung by Dwayne Murphy's RBI single to right. Lansford would score to make it 3-0 Oakland. And the A's got run number 4 when second baseman Tony Phillips led off the 5th inning against Hurst.
There's a drive deep to left field. If it stays fair, could be trouble. It is. Home run, Tony Phillips.
4-0 Oakland. All the while, lefty Kurt Young was doing a marvelous job on Boston. He held the Sox off the board on just 2 hits through 8 innings, and he had some help from his Oakland teammates. Witness the Dwight Evans ground ball, and the artwork turned in at short by Oakland's Alfredo Griffin. Bruce Hurst's comeback start ended in the 6th following a walk to Dwayne Murphy. A's catcher Mickey Tettleton drilled a rope down the line and left, scoring Murphy, making it 5-0. And Bruce was through 1 out into the 6th after allowing 7 Oakland hits. In the 9th, Kurt Young was 1 out away from a complete game shutout, but with Baylor aboard, Dwight Evans goes deep to left center, and Dwayne Murphy in center field makes the leap, but Evans has his 13th home run, his first off a lefty. 5-2 on the homer, but Doug Bear came on, retired Ray Quinones to end it, and the Sox fall for the 4th time in 5 games since the All-Star break. The final Monday night, Oakland 5 and Boston 2.
All right, thanks very much, Eric. So the Red Sox can manage just 3 hits in 8 2/3 innings against Kurt Young, while the A's played long ball against Bruce Hurst. After the game, Bob Montgomery spoke with Oakland catcher Mickey Tettleton, and they talked about the performance of Kurt Young.
He did an outstanding job. He just kept the ball around the plate and didn't walk that many people, and that's a big key. And when you got a lineup like the Red Sox have, you just got to make the pitches when you have to, and Kurt did. The Red Sox come in here in first place, and you know it's unfortunate that he couldn't get the shutout, but Dewey's a good hitter, and you can't make mistakes to him. But you know, he just mixed his pitches up well, and it's got to help his confidence out to go out and pitch against the lineup like they have.
The Red Sox loss, coupled with the Yankees' win over Texas, means Boston now leads New York by 5 games in the American League East. Cleveland is third, 7 games back, followed by the Toronto Blue Jays, 7.5 back. Baltimore has dropped into 5th place, 8 games off the pace, and without Eddie Murray, their chances for moving up don't look too good. Detroit remains 10 games out, and Milwaukee is in the basement. In the West, Texas has lost 5 in a row, but remains only 2.5 games behind California. Chicago and Kansas City are tied for third, 6.5 games back. Seattle trails by 8.5, followed by Minnesota and Oakland. We'll wrap up this edition of Red Sox Digest and send you out to Oakland for the first pitch of today's game between the Red Sox and A's after these messages. And finally this afternoon, Kansas City Royals manager Dick Hauser is undergoing surgery today for the removal of a brain tumor at St. Luke's Hospital in Kansas City. Hauser is without question one of the finest gentlemen in baseball today, and the thoughts and prayers of all of us here at Nesson are certainly with him today. And that does it for this edition of Red Sox Digest. Coming up next, it's Game 2 of a 3-game series between the Red Sox and the Oakland A's. It will be Tom Seaver against Joaquin Andujar. And I'm Sean McDonough. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the ball game. This is Nesson, your New England Sports Network. Live from Oakland Alameda County Coliseum, the New England Sports Network presents exclusive coverage of Red Sox baseball. This afternoon, the Boston Red Sox take on the Oakland A's. Brought to you in part by Polaroid Spectra System. We take your pictures seriously. By Nissan, who invites you to test drive the totally new 1987 Nissan Stanza at your Nissan dealer now. By Sullivan Tire, your family car care center. By Budweiser, Beechwood aged for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. And by your Mass Chevy dealer, the place to get the truck deal of a lifetime.
Good afternoon, everybody, from Oakland Alameda County Coliseum. I'm Ned Martin, along with Bob Montgomery. The Red Sox trying to win one here against the Oakland Athletics in Game 2 of their 3-game set. They have a job to do today because they're up against one of the foremost pitchers for the Athletics, a guy who's had trouble with the DL this year, Joaquin Andujar, who already has beaten the Red Sox once. And a very nice matchup, Monty, with Tom Seaver going for Boston.
Helping that former National League, as we were talking about last night, the former National League greats, if you want to look at it from that aspect. One thing that may be in Andujar's favor, of course, his injury on that disabled list had nothing to do with his arm. It was a simple leg injury. One thing the Red Sox would like to do today is get some runs for Tom Seaver. His last 2 starts have seen him get no runs and then 1 earned run. So they would be well to do something about that. But then Andujar is the one you have to do that off of. It could be a low-scoring ball game.
They only got 1 run off him last time at Fenway Park. We'll have the starting lineups right after this.
That's what we noticed by start.
Yes.
Okay, the starting lineups. The first one for the Boston Red Sox this afternoon. A few changes here and there because of a right-handed pitcher going instead of last night's left-hander. Marty Barrett will be at second base. Wade Boggs at third. Bill Buckner, the hitter. Don Baylor in left field. Dwight Evans in right. Rich Gedman catching. Mike Stenhouse at first base. Ray Quinones at shortstop. And Lachelle Tarver in center field. The umpiring crew will be John Hirschbeck calling the balls and strikes, Tim Toshida at first base, crew chief Nick Bremigan at second, and Rocky Rowe calling the plays at third. Beautiful afternoon in Oakland, and a little swirling breeze, but very pleasant, as out on the mound for the Athletics, the veteran Joaquin Andujar.
And veteran indeed. He pitches certainly like a veteran over and over and over again. He's kind of a come-right-at-you type pitcher. He'll give you a lot of velocity, a lot of good velocity, pretty good control. Not afraid to get his share of the plate on the outside corner either. 5 wins, 2 losses. This will be his second start since coming back off the disabled list with that hamstring pull. And in a simulated game, hurt an ankle that set the comeback time back even a little bit farther. 3.42 earned run average. This will be start number 12 for the right-hander overall. And talking about a pitcher being really missed from a starting rotation or a staff, the fact that Andujar has but 50 innings of work this year would give you a little bit of an idea of what the Oakland A's have missed with him out of there. Certainly, you think about this time of the year, you're talking about a starting pitcher who gets the ball and answers the call on a regular basis. He should be somewhere around 130 to 35 innings by now.
Well, that's why they got him, too. They wanted him to be the ace of the staff, and he certainly could have been without an injury. 2 20-game winning seasons in a row behind him in the National League for the Cardinals. Traded him over here for catcher Mike Heath, and he beat the Red Sox at Fenway Park. A very strong performance in May before going on the disabled list. He is one of the few people out of San Pedro de Macorís who's not a shortstop from the Dominican Republic.
Had to have somebody for those guys to catch it off.
That's right. Marty Barrett standing in. Barrett hitting .288. And the first pitch is ball 1. We're underway at Oakland. Barrett with a couple of home runs and 28 runs batted in. Joaquin is high for a ball. The count is 2-0. Andujar, 33 years old. 6 feet, 190 pounds. Tim Conroy, of course, another pitcher went over to, along with Heath, to the Cardinals in that winter deal. There's a strike snapped across the outside corner. Last year with St. Louis, Andujar won 21, lost 12. The year before, he was 20 and 14. Oh, and 1 in the League Championship Series last year with the Dodgers. Right side and right to Bruce Bhakti, the first baseman. Barrett is out. There's 1 away. Bhakti at first base, Phillips at second, Griffin at short, and Lansford at third in the infield for the A's. Jerry Willard catching today. Canseco, Murphy, and Mike Davis left to right in the outfield. Wade Boggs, .361 average. Boggs went 0 for 3 last night and was called out on strikes his last time up in the 9th inning against Kurt Young. Strike 1. Boggs has 5 home runs, 44 batted in. Lining foul down the left field side, and a catch in the crowd. 0-2. Boggs still leading the major leagues in average and on base percentage. Fastball knocks Wade back off the plate, and it's 1 ball, 2 strikes. Last start for Andujar. A win over Milwaukee, 6-1. His first is coming off the list. Little chopper, and Joaquin will field it. Holy mackerel. Bruce Bhakti, about 30 feet away, took a 90-mile-an-hour fastball.
He threw it to Bhakti a lot harder than he threw it to Boggs.
Did that.
Bruce, be ready over there. That's right. He's checking to make sure all the teeth are still there. Andujar really went back to that rosin bag. Really got rosined up like he was going to turn one loose. Got the change up to Boggs and got him out in front, and then fired the heater to his first baseman.
Bhakti's head snapped back on that one. It's like Doc Ellis used to throw to the plate when he came in.
Doc wanted to change balls. You got his best velocity.
1 strike the count to Buckner. Bill Buckner, the designated hitter. Hitting .253 with 10 home runs and 53 runs batted in. Fly ball hit pretty well to center field. Murphy back and can't get it. Takes it on 1 hop. Buckner into second base with a stand-up double. Ball well stroked to center by Bill Buckner. A 2-out double.
Well, right away, you see the difference in the way the ball carries in this ballpark in the daytime. The last night, we saw a couple of strong right-handed hitters really drive balls into this area last night. And the outfielders, although they had to drop back and make some run for him, were there pretty much waiting. Not this time. Murphy was going as hard as he could go. Still has that ball over his head. And Buckner has his 22nd double, and I'm going to assure you that at least half of those are the toughest doubles in the world.
That's right. I mean, he has to struggle to get to second base nowadays. He's still bothered with the ankle. Don Baylor is the batter, hitting .241, playing left field again. Little tapper to shortstop Griffin. Retires Baylor, a little spinning ball, and that is all for the Red Sox in the first inning. They have no runs, they have a hit, and they leave 1. And after a half inning of play, it is Boston 0, and Oakland coming to bat. The Athletics will hit like this today. Tony Phillips will be at second base. Dwayne Murphy in center field. Jose Canseco in left field. Bruce Bhakti at first base. Dave Kingman, the designated hitter. Carney Lansford at third base. Mike Davis in right field. Jerry Willard, the catcher, and Alfredo Griffin at shortstop. And that lineup will take the field against Tom Seaver.
Certainly a lineup that has to be dealt with for a couple of different reasons. Those power hitters in there. And also the fact that most of their hitters, as opposed to the Red Sox hitters, the Oakland A's hitters are healthy. So that's a little something else that Seaver would have to be dealing with as opposed to Andujar. Seaver making his 5th start in a Red Sox uniform. And after coming to Boston, he's worked to a 2-win and 1-loss record, going 32, giving up 32 hits in 26 2/3. But very strong in the base on balls and strikeouts department. He's about 3-1 there. He's walked 5, striking out 16, and he's given up 2 home runs. This Oakland lineup, as I was mentioning, healthy. They are strong, they are speedy, but they also have a group of hitters in that lineup that can very much be pitched to. So a controlled type pitcher and an experienced pitcher like Seaver could certainly use a lot of that to his advantage, especially the power guys like a Canseco and a Kingman. You do have to remember, though, if you make one little mistake, either one of those 2 guys, along with a couple of others, can really hurt your attitude.
Seaver pitched as well as any of the Red Sox pitchers up in Seattle, actually. He pitched a tough ball game, leaving a game tied up 1-1. He got out of a numerous amount of jams in Seattle. He was no decision in that. He went 6 innings and gave up 7 hits and 1 run, walked 2 and struck out 5 against the Mariners. The first man up, Tony Phillips, takes a strike. Phillips at 258. 5 home runs, 40 batted in. And a 1-ball, 1-strike count to the switch-hitting second baseman. Phillips had a home run last night, batting right-handed against Bruce Hurst. He went 1 for 3 officially, walked once. Well stretched out in a crouch. Down to Barrett at second. 1 out. So Phillips is gone and Murphy comes in. Dwayne Murphy batted in the number 7 spot last night against the left-handed Hurst starting. He's up in the number 2 position and hitting .256. 3 home runs, 18 batted in. And Murphy had a hit last night to drive in a run. 1 for 3 for him. In the dirt for ball 1. Beautiful day for this 12:15 start Oakland time. About 70 degrees. They've been working on this a couple of day games here and there at this time during this year. They have a promotion tomorrow. I don't believe there's any today. Do you think so?
I don't know that. I know they're working on some of these games, as you said. They try to do. I was talking to Mickey Mirabito, the public relations man here for the Oakland A's. They do not have a big advanced cell here because of the size of the ballpark, which is a little bit understandable. Come to this ballpark and buy a ticket anytime you want to. So they try to help some of the, especially in the summertime, middle of the summer when the kids are out of school, they help promote some of that daytime baseball.
Foul on the 3-1 pitch. It's now 3-2 to Murphy. Well, I kind of liked it, as a matter of fact.
Well, as we witnessed last night, it was quite cool in this ballpark, and it is on a number of occasions, even though we're in July. So it gives the Oakland A's fans a chance to come to the ballpark when it's going to be a beautiful day, which they have a lot of here anyway. Almost a perfect day.
3-2 from Seaver to Murphy, and ball 4.
I think the players probably like them too. You don't necessarily like the quick day game after the night game like last night. But in Boston, when we would have the Wednesday afternoon or Thursday afternoon games, it was like having a day and a half off or a full day off.
All right. And 2 games in the daytime following each other makes it a little bit more normal. Jose Canseco, the left fielder, hitting .265 with 23 home runs and 78 batted in. Seaver checking over there with Dwayne Murphy. Red Sox held Canseco to 0 for 4 last night. struck him out twice. But he is one that you talk about with the home run swing and the strikeout swing almost identical, depending on where you put the ball. Tight to him for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes.
He's taking some extra batting practice today, I'd say for a good solid 15 minutes, maybe more. And had Ron Plaza, the third base coach of the A's, throwing batting practice to him with almost all breaking balls, curveballs, sliders.
Foul back. Well, that's what any rookie that swings like that will have to start working on. People will work on him that way. But he is so dangerous up there. One swing and he can unload the ball game on you. 11 hits in his last 40 at bats, but of those 11 hits, 5 have been home runs against Boston. That's against Boston pitching this year. 5 home runs, none last night. And there's a good breaking pitch on that outside corner. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
All the batting practice in the world on breaking balls won't heal this one. That is just perfectly thrown.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Looped out into shallow center, back of second base actually, and Quinones has it for the out. Seaver staying away from Canseco after going into him to start him off. Pops up to shortstop. There are 2 away. Now Bruce Bhakti, the first baseman, is up. Bruce hitting .262 with 5 home runs and 24 batted in. Did not play last night with Hurst starting. Bruce Hurst felt pretty good today. He said he really didn't feel that he had he was very short on his fastball. He thought he knew he'd be a little short, but he didn't feel that he'd be that short. And of course the breaking stuff will come too, but I think he was encouraged.
Well, simply because that leg didn't bother him, if anything else. And if he is not that sore today, then that's a good sign. He was about 3 miles an hour under normal for him. He'll be around 86 to 87, sometimes a little quicker than that. Last night he was about 82 and 83, but then of course minus that curveball.
Yeah. Into the hole in left field for a base hit for Bhakti. Ball bobbled a bit by Baylor, but no advance. Bruce Bhakti, who likes to hit a lot that way, goes to left field, singling and sending Murphy to second. Dave Kingman will be up. Bhakti at first, Murphy at second. 2 outs in the first inning of a scoreless game. And 2 former Mets going against each other, Seaver and Kingman. Kingman is hitting at .204, but he has 22 home runs, 61 runs driven in. Had a homer last night. Breaking pitch, ball 1. Jesse Barfield and Canseco are tied for the lead, along with Mike Pagliarulo of New York, for home runs in the American League with 23. Kingman has 22, tied with George Bell of Toronto for the second spot. 1 ball, 1 strike. Kent Herbeck of Minnesota, 21. So does Lance Parrish of Detroit have 21. Canseco all by himself in runs batted in, leading the majors there, and the American League by 4 over George Bell, who is creeping up though, and Wally Joyner third at 73 runs batted in. The ball behind Gedman, and the runners move up. Murphy goes to third and Bhakti to second.
Tom maybe hung on to the breaking ball a little more, just kind of slung it to the outside part. Gedman couldn't get the glove to the backhand. Trying to keep the palm of the glove up. Had it go off the glove all the way. That's pretty good ways from this plate to the backstop if it doesn't go off onto the angles, off of the wings. A bit of a jaunt back there.
You would know.
Yeah, I was there a few times.
There's a line drive base hit to center field. And the wild pitch is going to cost 2 runs. 2-0 Oakland. Dave Kingman singling sharply into center. Scoring Murphy and Bhakti.
Well, right down in Kingman's living room, too. Of course, you don't have an awful lot of options there. Certainly Seaver didn't want to hang it or set it right in the middle of the plate for him. Kingman hung it out to dry.
Quickly, Oakland breaks on top 2-0. And that's what the Red Sox didn't want to see happen. They got a 1-0 lead last night in the second inning. Runner going down the second base. The throw goes into center field. Kingman picks himself up and trots to third. Dave Kingman doesn't do that often. Gets a stolen base. There'll be an error on the throw by Gedman.
Well, Kingman's trying to become an all-around player here in the latter part of his career. Tried to bunt his way on last night. Was thrown out on a good play. And on that one, he just took off. Nobody paid any attention to him. And he'll get up and hustle it on to third. Stolen base for him. That's his second stolen base of the year. Not unique.
Here's Carney Lansford taking ball 1. Kingman at third, 2 outs, 2 runs in. Stolen base for Kingman. Error on Gedman on the throw. Three balls, no strikes. Red Sox had 1 error last night. But as noted, they have been making a lot more than their share the last couple of weeks before and after the break. There's a strike to Lansford. Lansford hitting .289, foul ball. Seven home runs and 34 runs driven in for Carney. Continued his hot hitting against his old ball club with a 3-for-3 night last night. 2 singles and a triple. Drive to left field deep. Baylor back. It's against the wall for another run. And Lansford goes into second. He's got a double. And they're running at Seaver now. Carney Lansford continues his heavy hitting against the Red Sox, doubling to left. 3-0 Oakland.
Oh, really a rocket. He is just zeroed in on that A's logo out on the left field wall. They were trying to run that ball in on Carney's hands, and Carney wouldn't let him get in there. Not off the apostrophe, I think.
Slowly hit to the right side by Davis, and Barrett throws Mike Davis out. Davis, the right fielder. First ball hitting is thrown out. The inning finally ends for Seaver, who gives up 3 runs on 3 hits, and they leave 1. And after 1 inning of play, it's Oakland 3 and Boston nothing. Now a message from your Mass Chevy dealers, the place to get the truck deal of a lifetime. Manager John McNamara coming upon hard times lately with the injuries to his club and kind of a so-so finish before the All-Star break and a poor beginning in Seattle. Sees his team down 3-0 already in the second game of this 3-game set against Oakland, a last-place club in the American League West. There was a statement by the American League today. Dr. Bobby Brown, the president of the American League, announced today the fine and suspension of Oakland A's pitcher Dave Stewart. That was actually last night. That's as a result of a fight between Stewart and Cleveland Indian manager Pat Corrales on July 1st at Oakland Coliseum right here. Stewart has been fined $500 and suspended for a period of 4 games. However, Stewart has appealed Dr. Brown's decision, and pending the results of that appeal, Stewart's suspension has been postponed. Pat Corrales was also fined $500 and has been suspended for 4 games. Corrales started serving his suspension already, but since Stewart is appealing, he can go to until the appeal comes up later in the month or sometime in August maybe. So he will pitch tomorrow afternoon's game here. He will be the starting pitcher against the Red Sox. That was the big fight that was started when Corrales came out. Stewart met him at the third baseline. Corrales gave him a karate kick, and Stewart decked him with a right. Dwight Evans up. His homer averted a shutout last night, his 13th home run of the year. He's hitting .263 with 63 runs batted in. Two and nothing. Evans has hit in 5 straight games, going 9 for 19. He's had 2 homers and 9 runs batted in his last 4 games. Cracks it towards short. Griffin. A little hesitation, but gets in nicely. Evans can't get it by Griffin in this series. He made a great play last night toward the hole and in to get Evans on sheer robbery. This was not quite as difficult.
Dwight's going to have to try somebody else in that infield. I think Griffin's pretty much shown him that he can make the play on him any way he has to go. That one extra step. To watch Griffin a lot in this series, he'll take that ball and drop it from that glove into his bare hand. That time he kind of flipped it from the glove into the throwing hand.
Rich Gedman up. Lines it towards center. Dwayne Murphy stabs it. Ball was sailing. Hit hard by Gedman. Murphy staying with it, going to his right and snagging it up in the backhand.
I think that ball just starting to realize how hard it was hit just before it got to Murphy. It was really starting to get a little extra on it. Oops, there's a little bit of a lunge. That last long stride got the job done, though, for the center fielder.
2 down quickly for the Red Sox in the second. They trail 3-0. And Mike Stenhouse is the batter, playing first base today. Ball high. Mike, 2 hits and 15 times up. Most of those times up as a pinch hitter, and his walks have been gathered. 10 walks this season gathered as a pinch hitter, most part. He lifts one to left center field and is going to be taken by the left fielder, Canseco. Stenhouse flies to left. 1-2-3 for Andujar, and we go to the bottom of the second inning with Oakland leading 3-0. Now a message from Sullivan Tire Family Car Care Centers. At Sullivan Tire, you'll be treated with our family spirit, because that's what Sullivan Tire is all about. In the top, or the bottom of inning number 2, Oakland leading 3-0. It'll be Jerry Willard leading off. He'll be followed by Alfredo Griffin, and then the top of the order, Tony Phillips. Willard hitting .281. Willard used to be with the Cleveland Indians. He opened last year with them. The Californian, who last year with Cleveland hit .270 in 300 at bats and 39 ball in 104 games. Played with the Maine Guides. Willard hitting .281. And looking at Seaver's pitch for a ball 3 count. Willard began his career in the Philadelphia Phillies organization, signed first with them. There's a strike to him, 3-1. Got his first 2 major league homers in the same game at Fenway Park back in '82. when he was playing with Cleveland. And he walks. Willard draws a walk to open things in the second for Oakland. The second walk given up by Seaver. Alfredo Griffin, the shortstop, batting ninth, hitting .289, couple of home runs, 28 batted in. And Alfredo is lithe and wiry, but he's played in 268 straight games, counting this one. He has a 6-game hitting streak going right now. Bunts. Boggs gets him over to Stenhouse. Nice play by Wade, playing it with the bare hand. The sacrifice given to Griffin. Willard goes to second.
Oh, what a honey. Alfredo just shoots it right down that third base side. Already a step out of the box and a head start on Boggs in that department. What a good play by Wade, bare-handed and all. Actually, Alfredo couldn't lose with that effort, could he?
Not hardly.
Base hit or no at bat.
Runner at second base with one out, and the top of the order coming up, Tony Phillips. Lines it toward right, but here comes Evans, and Dwight with a shoulder-high catch. Making it out number 2. Willard holding at second. Two down, that's right. And Dwayne Murphy coming up. Murphy walked and scored a run in the first inning. One of the 3 scored by the A's. All 3 of the runs were earned in that inning, despite a throwing error by Gedman. It was just a base advancing error, and the ensuing double by Lansford would have scored Kingman from second anyway. Nothing in 1, the count to Murph. High toward right field, deep, and Evans back. At the track makes the catch for the final out. No runs and 1 left. After 2 innings of play here, it's Oakland 3 and Boston nothing. This copyrighted program is brought to you under pay cable TV rights granted by the Boston Red Sox solely for the entertainment of our viewing audience. Any publication, rebroadcast, retransmission, or other use of the accounts and descriptions of this game without the written consent of the New England Sports Network and the Red Sox is prohibited. Got the top of the third coming up at the Coliseum with the Red Sox trailing 3-0. And Quinones, Tarver, and Barrett will be up. One helpful thing for the Red Sox is the fact that Jim Rice is walking a little better today. Came out the ballpark with you, didn't he? How's his knee?
He could be hitting, or he was hitting during batting practice today. He tried to shag yesterday afternoon. He just simply can't run on it anymore. He's walking a lot better. He has more flexibility in it where he can bend it.
Ray Quinones is up. Quinones hitting .247, 2 home runs, 15 runs batted in. And a strike from Andujar. Last night's game, Quinones went 0 for 3, walked once. And good wicked breaking pitch for a strike in the outside corner. 0-2. Can sit on that outside corner on Quinones there. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Last time he got all rosin up like that, it was a changeup to Boggs. Oops.
Not that time.
Not that time. That's right.
Ball 2. It's a 2-2 count to Quinones. Andujar, a guy that kind of marches to his own drummer. Red Sox were offered Joaquin, you might remember, over the winter. And 3 other players. There's a ball outside. 3-2 to Quinones.
Joaquin may be yelling into the plate umpire, where was it?
Well, sure it had the plate. I don't know about the
pitch.
height or not. Full count, 3-2 to Ray Quinones. Goes to second base, Phillips. And Quinones is out. 1 down in the top of the 3rd. Red Sox have had 1 hit so far, a double, 2-out double by Bill Buckner in the 1st inning. Oakland leading 3-0. Lachelle Tarver. Tarver, the center fielder. 2 hits and 15 times up for him since coming up from Pawtucket. And he takes a fastball high for a ball. Tarver did not play last night. Romine played center field and got a hit. Well, he pulls the ball, and Bhakti has it at first. They played Tarver way over to left field, and left fielder usually sits on the line. They did in Seattle. Canseco was toward the line there. This time, Lachelle got a ball he could handle to the right side, but right at the first baseman. There are 2 down. Marty Barrett grounded to Bhakti in the 1st. Had a single in last night's game, then was cut down trying to steal. Outfield, which was to left on Tarver, moves around toward right on Barrett. And he lines to left. Coming in quickly is Canseco. Barrett takes the turn and holds as Canseco fires into the cutoff man, Griffin. Barrett has his first hit on the second Red Sox hit, a 2-out single.
Joaquin drops down to the side. He wants to get that ball to the outside part of the plate. It just hangs right inside for Marty. Marty quickly fired those hips out of there, and the baseball is right behind it. Want to see a P? That just kept right on going right there. You would have seen one.
He threw to Griffin about like Andujar threw to Bhakti in the 1st inning. Here's Wade Boggs. Boggs bounced out to Andujar. Fouls it off, strike 1.
It helps those infielders, and they'd certainly be aware of that. The strong throwing arm of a Canseco, Murphy with a good strong throwing arm in center field, Davis, all those outfielders, they do not have to go out as far in that outfield to become cutoff men because those throws get to them much quicker. And that just makes the relay play on any kind of gapper anywhere a little more effective as far as this Oakland club is concerned. Griffin, of course, with a very strong throwing arm, and he would be the one that would handle most of the cutoff playing. His speed will allow him to get to the right side to take balls out of the right center field gap.
To Boggs, and the foul. 1-2. Boggs up there now, and Canseco is way over toward the line and left, about where he played Tarver, only deeper. And Murphy, the side saddle center fielder, facing the left field line, playing in left center. You see where they give Boggs the entire right field line area. Davis moved over to right center. Keep working him out there. 2-2.
Where a hitter sometimes can help himself, and Boggs certainly will do that. He'll look around and check those outfielders. He's got to know that if they throw anything that's in on him, it's going to be in where he can't reach it. Andujar did it earlier, almost knocked him down.
To make a mistake, and Wade could run for a while if he got one out there into right field. got one out over the inner half of the plate. That's something you could handle. Down to second, and Phillips with a momentary bobble throws Boggs out, and that is the end of the inning. No runs, 1 hit and 1 left, and after 2.5 innings, Oakland 3 and Boston nothing. And now a message from your Mass Chevy dealers, the place to get the truck deal of a lifetime. Bottom of the 3rd inning at Oakland, with the A's leading the Red Sox 3-0, and their meat of the order coming up against Tom Seaver, Canseco, Bhakti, and Kingman. 3rd, 4th, and 5th hitters. Jose Canseco popped to shortstop in the 1st. He's bluffing the bunt and taking way outside, past everybody, ball 1. Drops the bunt to Seaver. Wasn't fooling the first time either. Canseco trying something different. Bunts out to Tom Seaver. So there's one down, and then just as you say, Kingman can do that all afternoon or all night. So can Canseco, as far as you're concerned. Give him 4 bunts.
You bet. Say thank you after each one.
Here's Bhakti taking high for a ball. Bruce singled and scored in the 1st. But Jose Canseco, you can see maybe why he was trying to bunt that time, Monty. He's 0 for 17. He's 0 for his last 17. Maybe he's trying to do something to get started again.
Home run would serve the same purpose, wouldn't it?
That would help you get started. Down wide of first, taken by Stenhouse, over to Seaver, and there are 2 down. Bhakti grounding out 3-1. So Stenhouse and Seaver have combined on a couple of plays here in the 3rd inning. 2 down, nobody on, and Kingman is up. Dave came up with runners at 2nd and 3rd and drilled a single to center field, scoring them both in the 1st inning. Three infielders on the left side again. He will hit into that shift most of the time. He does this time too to Boggs. 1, 2, 3 inning for Seaver, all on the ground. And after 3 innings of play here, Oakland 3, Boston nothing. At the end of 3, the Oakland A's with a 3-run 1st inning lead in this game with 3 runs, 3 hits, and no errors. The Red Sox, no runs, 2 hits, and 1 error. The 3 runs are earned as Joaquin Andujar has said things pretty much his way, Monty, and you'd expect no difference. You got to get some people on base and get a loud thump somewhere.
He doesn't allow many of those, that's for sure. At least he hasn't to Boston batters this year. He hasn't allowed a lot of them in the last couple of years. He's won 41 games over those last 2 years. Actually 46 now, counting his 5 into this 3rd season of that. Buckner, one of the 2 Red Sox hits. He had a sharp double over the glove of Murphy out in left center field his first time up. That's as far as he has gotten, and that's the only sniff that the Red Sox have had of a run, the only possibility. They did have Barrett on with a single, but he stayed right at first. Lifted to center once again by Buckner. Murphy dropping back near the edge of the warning track. Hauls it in, 1 away. Another interesting note about Andujar in his career in the big leagues, which started back in 1976 with the Astros. This man, in over 1,900 innings, has never given up a grand slam.
That's amazing.
Isn't that something? Here's Baylor up. Not sure how many times he would have had opportunities the way he's pitched the last couple of years. He just doesn't give you that many base runners. Right now, Andujar leader, 3-0 over the Red Sox in the top of the 4th inning. Nobody on, a man down for Don Baylor. Andujar got right on his hands to retire him on a soft roller to actually a soft liner, then a one-hopper to Griffin at short in the first. Fastball actually seemed to start off the plate and then tail right back on the outer third. Baylor even now in the count, 2-2.
That's the tail on it.
Once again, Andujar trying to go outside as he drops down and comes around by third and didn't quite get it there. Baylor pulled it foul. Second time around in this West Coast swing, certainly a different one. First 5 games as the Red Sox started before the All-Star break, they were 5-0 through Seattle and Oakland. First 5 games in this one, however, they are 1-4. Their lone win, the Roger Clemens start in Seattle. That pitch just misses outside, and it's a full count to Baylor. Red Sox playing ball clubs that are a lot different, not makeup-wise necessarily, although the A's have quite a few of their players back off that injured list. Baylor on a soft line drive to right field and have the 3rd Red Sox hit. So the Red Sox have caught the A's in that department, however, still trail 3-0.
Don't often see Don Baylor going to right field. He did on this one, though. Kind of almost an inside-out swing for him. Plops it out there, and for the first time in the game, the Red Sox have a hit with less than 2 out.
Seems to be deliberate at that swing. He looked like he had an idea. He wanted to go that way, and it's just the way he went. So Donnie will stand at first for Dwight Evans. One down. Evans out on a roller to Alfredo Griffin. Dewey hit his 13th homer last night here to deep left center field. Just past the 375 mark. Quick throw by Andujar there. Baylor just back safely. And that one gets away from Botke. Baylor up, and he will move to second base. So the Red Sox have had their second man back there now. And Andujar will be charged with the error.
Red Sox catch a break here. The ball in the dirt by Andujar off the glove of Botke. Baylor finally sees it out there and just keeps his eye on it, makes sure that he has plenty of time to get down to second base on the throwing error.
Strike poured over by Andujar. Dwight's homer last night, the first one he's hit off a left-handed pitcher all season long. Red Sox, of course, as you know, and we mentioned from time to time, a little more difficulty offensively against left-handed pitching. Left-handers have beaten Red Sox 13 times this year. Red Sox have won 12 against left-handers. Of course, that's a combination of starters and relievers in both wins and losses. There's the breaking ball. It gets that outside corner, and it's 1-2. Andujar, for the most part today, is doing something that's a little hard for any hitter, right-handed or left-handed, to adjust to. He's making that ball move different directions. He has it going in on the right-hander with the running fastball, not so much of a sinker. And then, of course, that good sharp slider changes directions. There it is. Evans reached for it once again to Griffin at short. And that's out number 2. Well, it's a question of a hitter being able to pick the spot, pick the pitch. Maybe have to guess a little bit to say, well, is he going to give me a chance to run it in on me, or do I have to look away? Baylor had to hold his ground at second with 2 down. That'll bring up Rich Gedman. Red Sox playing a couple of hot clubs, too. The Mariners had won 5 in a row in the Dome when they had come in, when the Red Sox had gone in there. The A's have won 6 of their last 7 games.
They've won 6 of their last 7, and they've done a good job under Tony La Russa, and they're already writing into the paper asking for Billy Martin to come back. The fans here.
Tony La Russa. He played to a 7-5 mark under La Russa since he's taken over. Gedman again, this time deep to center field. Murphy going back. He'll watch this one. Touch them all, Getty. A 2-run homer for Gedman, and the Red Sox pull within 1. Ooh. As deep as you can get in this ballpark, well over 400 feet for Gedman's 6th homer of the year. It's 3-2 Oakland.
First Red Sox player, first player ever to hit one out there in this ballpark when they came in here was Carl Yastrzemski. Hit one out in that area, and Gedman duplicated that here.
Stenhouse with a deep fly ball to right center field. Murphy dropping back. He's there as he glides in the middle of the warning track to haul that one in, but the Red Sox score. They get a couple of runs on 2 hits. The big one, the 6th homer of the year by Rich Gedman. And after 3.5, Boston trails Oakland 3-2. And now a message from Sullivan Tire Family Car Care Centers. At Sullivan Tire, you'll be treated with our family spirit, because that's what Sullivan Tire is all about.
Rich Gedman gets 2 back for his battery mate very quickly on this pitch. The ball tails right out over the heart of the plate, and Gedman's swing sends it well over 400 feet away. Murphy knew it. Time he got there, no chance at it. Just admire that as it goes over for a 2-run homer for Gedman. Flying away into that runway out there. 3-2.
Pretty good shot by Gedman. That ball not only over the 400-foot mark, it was 400 plus over that mark. Oh, Gedman has his teammates right back in it. Seaver to work to Lansford here, leading off the A's 4th inning. Lansford an RBI double in the Oakland 1st. Oakland's 3 runs all coming in inning number 1. Carney will be followed by Mike Davis and Jerry Willard. Seaver off the mark outside. 2-1. John McNamara, and he almost must get at least 6 innings out of Seaver today. He doesn't really have an option. Stewart gone to Los Angeles to be examined by Dr. Yoakum, affiliated with Dr. Jobe around that Los Angeles Dodger team for so many years. Grounder to Boggs left. Lansford is out, 1 away. Calvin Schiraldi has worked 2+ innings 2 days in a row. Last day in Seattle, last night. So he's pretty much down, and Stanley you wouldn't use much before the 7th inning anyway, unless it became an absolute emergency.
Lawler got up last night but didn't come in to pitch to the other one early.
On the other side of the coin, the A's carry 5 pitchers. Will make that 6. And they're all pretty healthy. They've had to do that because of unhealthy pitchers throughout the course of this year. And one thing that helps Tony La Russa do that and carry 4 extra men is that he has some switch hitters. Donnie Hill, who was active last night in the infield, sits on that bench to work either left-handed or right-handed as a pinch hitter. So does Mickey Tettleton, last night's starting catcher. Breaking ball in the back door to Mike Davis, and it's a ball and 2-strike count. Plus Donnie Hill can play a number of positions in that infield, so that alleviates another man. That's, as we've talked about so many times, a requirement now with the one less player on your rosters. 24 instead of 25. That 23rd and 24th man has to be somewhat versatile. A little smoke there from Tom, but doesn't find the strike zone, and we're even at 2-2. To the right side, bouncing. Stenhouse is there. Underhand flip to Seaver just in time, and that's out number 2. Did Tom catch a spike? Had a quick look at it, but I don't see a limp there.
Stenhouse flipping the toss to Seaver, and they got just by a half step. I don't believe he caught that much of it, if he caught any at all.
Tom did get that right foot right in the middle of that bag. Pitchers like to get themselves so they can run along that line side by side and get the inside corner to stay away from that very thing happening. Jerry Willard, the hitter. Nobody on, 2 down for the A's catcher. He drew a walk leading off the 2nd inning. Boston trailing 3-2 as we play in the bottom of inning number 4. Other than the Chicago Cubs, who just got underway at Wrigley, the only 2 ball games going on in the country right now. Everything, both American and National League, slated for night action. San Diego did not score in the top of the 1st inning at Wrigley. There's the tailing fastball, just gets the outside corner and then runs away. And it's 2-2. You see a little movement on some Seaver pitches, much as you will from Andujar. Especially to the left-hander. Threw it right in the target. Getty must have been set up out of the strike zone.
Hardly had to move the glove, but he was outside.
Here's the payoff. Well, no, we'll start it back over again. Seaver had started and then stopped. He uses that once in a while, too. He'll stop, almost pause in his windup, and then continue through with it. A little double pump. Foul toward the Red Sox bullpen. To the right side, Marty Barrett. Stenhouse, that's it for the A's in the 4th. Seaver now has retired 9 open batters in a row. We go to inning number 5, and the A's lead 3-2. Time I think about that cruise, I think about that softball game, I have to wonder how you can play a softball game on a cruise liner. Kind of reminds me of the statement made by Bill Lee a couple of years ago when the California Angels had the types of hitters like a Jerry Remy, a Mickey Rivers. He made the statement. At that time, that team being managed by Dick Williams said they could take batting practice in the lobby of the Boston Sheraton. They didn't need to tear up the ballpark. So maybe that softball game can be made in time. Let's go to the 5th inning.
That angered Mr. Williams a little bit.
Just a
bit.
bit.
He heard that.
Well, there's some hitters.
And Lee proved himself right in that series. as I recall. There's a strike to Canonis. I think if they have it aboard ship, it probably is fast pitch.
Be a fast game because they got a chance to run it out of softballs. I know that.
That's right.
Even if they use floaters.
Yeah, you see slow pitch in the middle of a deck somewhere, you're going to have fish diving for softballs all over the Atlantic, Caribbean. Griffin, medium deep at shortstop. He comes charging for this one, but gives way to the second baseman, Phillips. And Canonis is out. Ray grounded out that way to the second baseman, Phillips, in the third inning. So there's one down in the fifth. Lachelle Tarver is the batter. Tarver grounded to Bakhti, the first baseman, in the third inning. Red Sox are trailing 3-2. Big two-run homer by Rich Gedman got them back in the game after Oakland had scored 3 off Seaver in the first inning. Lansford close at third, and Tarver bluffs the bunt. Foul tips it. 1 strike. In that San Diego-Chicago game at Wrigley, McCullers pitching for the Padres and Lynch going for the Cubs. Cubs lead it 1-0 after 1 inning of play, the only other afternoon game going. Slapped foul by Tarver. Lachelle Tarver. A lot of friends and family in this area. He lives about an hour and a half from here originally. And a swinging strike. Andujar just blows it by him, up and in for a strikeout, his first. To the left-handed batter, dropping down and firing that ball. It didn't really tail back in. It just burrowed in on Lachelle, and he was tied up by it. Had nothing to do but swing and hope he made some sort of foul contact, which he did not. Strikeout number 1 for Andujar. 2 down in the Red Sox 5th inning. Marty Barrett is up. Barrett 1 for 2. Barrett grounded out his first time, and he singled to left field in the third. Strike 1 to him. And it takes up high for a ball. 1 ball, 1 strike. Lifts it high to the right side, and Tony Phillips calling, gives way now to Davis. Mike Davis, the right fielder, with a catch in very shallow right, just off the skin part of the infield, actually. 1-2-3 inning for Andujar. We go to the bottom of the 5th inning. Oakland leading 3-2. Oakland A's up against Tom Seaver in the 5th inning. Athletics leading 3-2. Alfredo Griffin will be first up, and then the top of the order, Phillips and Murphy. Seaver, after a rocky first inning, has settled down very nicely and has retired the last 9 men to face him. Last man to get on was Jerry Willard with an opening walk in the 2nd inning. Griffin sacrificed in the 2nd. Off-speed pitch for ball 1. Griffin from the left side against Seaver. Lifts it toward left, and coming over is Baylor toward the line. Don Baylor with the catch. There's 1 out. Baylor getting back to getting used to left field after having not played the outfield for a whole full season. Last year he didn't play it in the outfield at all for the Yankees. Played a few games in 1984. in right and left field. 4-game total. And that's now because of the injury to Jim Rice. He has been put in there in Seattle and here. Phillips takes a strike. Tony Phillips has grounded to second and lined to right field. There is a good slow curveball for Seaver. Good changeup curve. Right on that inner edge. Something you can't do anything about it. Just say, well, I hope it's a ball. But it wasn't. Dropped over right on that inside corner. And the count is 0-2 to Phillips. Off speed again. Down to Barrett. And Marty throws Phillips out. 2 down. 2 go quickly in the 5th. Dwayne Murphy coming in. Walked and scored in the 1st inning. Fly to right field in the 2nd. Red Sox, after tomorrow afternoon's game, head for Anaheim, an off day Thursday, then a weekend series with the Angels. Toronto Blue Jays come in here to play the A's. And then they have the Angels coming in, so the Athletics have some nice home dates coming up. There's the breaking ball by Seaver. Count on Murphy, 1 ball, 1 strike. Two and 1. 2 outs in the 5th inning. Oakland leading 3-2. And puts a little bit more on that one for a strike. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And he got him. Tom Seaver registers his first strikeout. And that's a 1-2-3 inning again. 3, 6, 9, 12 in a row. And after 5 innings of play, Oakland leads 3-2.
Tomorrow afternoon, the Sox take on these A's right here in Oakland for the finale of this 3-game series. And we'll have all the action for you right here on NESN. Hal Nipper will be on the mound for the Red Sox. He'll be opposed by the Oakland A's' Dave Stewart. So you can join Sean McDonough for a complete Major League update on Red Sox Digest, which will be on at 3. And then watch Red Sox baseball right after Red Sox Digest at 3:15. It'll be the Sox and the A's live from Oakland, 3:15 tomorrow afternoon on NESN, where we deliver.
In the 6th inning, the Red Sox, trailing by a run, will have Boggs, Buckner, and Baylor up against Andujar. Wade is grounded out twice, once to the pitcher, once to second. And Andujar is going to victimize him again, that time with a pretty good play and a reaction off to the third base side. Boggs is out for the 3rd time.
Like Wade finally got a ball that he could reach or extend on and get a little power behind, but Andujar had other ideas. Well, he looked like a third baseman coming up over the top of that throw.
Gave Boggs a little breathing room on that throw. A little farther away from him than he was earlier on Boggs in the 1st inning. Here's Buckner, who has doubled and flied to center. His double went over the center fielder Murphy's head at the base of the wall in center field at 400 feet. Ball 1. Off speed by Andujar for a strike. 1-1 to Buckner. Oakland leading 3-2. Game dominated right now by two veteran pitchers who go quietly about their business of professional pitching. Buckner goes toward left center this time. Canseco over. Puts it away for the second out. 2 down in the 6th. Red Sox are out hitting the A's 4-3. Of course, their biggest hit was the 2-run homer by Richie Gedman in the 4th to get them on the board. Here's Don Baylor. Ball 1. Baylor grounded to shortstop in the 1st and poked a single to right field in the 4th. He rode home ahead of the Gedman homer. Two balls, no strikes. Pop up, shortstop way, Griffin. Alfredo Griffin with a catch, a 1-2-3 inning for Andujar, and he's retired 7 in a row since giving up the home run to Gedman. After 5 1/2, Oakland 3, Boston 2. Tom Seaver will face Canseco, Bhakti, and Kingman in the bottom of the 6th inning. Oakland leading the Red Sox 3-2. Seaver, after the 1st inning trouble and a walk in the 2nd, has retired 12 batters in a row. Canseco has popped to short and thrown out by Seaver as he tried to bunt his way on in the 3rd inning. No hits in his last 17 times at bat now. Strike on the outside corner. And the good off-speed pitch by Seaver that time had Jose way out in front. No balls, 2 strikes. One ball, 2 strikes now. Canseco's average at this point is .263. Fly ball, right field, Dwight Evans. And Canseco is 0 for 3. 1 down in the Oakland 6th inning.
First baseman, Bruce Bhakti.
The sky, which was almost perfectly clear when we came out here, is clouded over in the early afternoon hours. Sun no longer out. Ball 1 to Bhakti. Bruce Bhakti has singled in 2 times up. He singled to left in the 1st inning and scored a run. Rips it into right field. Base hit down into the corner. Evans digs it out. Bhakti to second. He's got a double. Bruce Bhakti, 2 for 3. So he has singled to left and doubled to right.
Throughout his career here, Bhakti has never tried to do anything with the ball that he couldn't do. His first time up, the ball was away from him. He shot it out to left field. This time, Seaver goes with a breaking ball, trying to get it in on him. And Bhakti just clears it out of there, hits it just inside the line down the right field way. And he'll slide for a double.
Runner at second base, 1 out. Seaver had retired 13 in a row up till then. Dave Kingman is the batter. Kingman singled home 2 runs in the first inning and later scored. And he grounded to Boggs in the 3rd. Ball 1. Oakland leading 3-2. Seaver trying to keep it that way. Left side, shortstop way. Canonis. Stretch by Stenhouse. 2 down. Bhakti holding at second, and with 2 gone, the batter will be Carney Lansford. Very tough man to face in this situation. Very good 2-out hitter. Very good 2-strike hitter. Lansford doubled home a run in the 1st and grounded to 3rd base in the 4th. Strike 1 from Seaver. Each team has 4 hits now.
Even though there's a left-handed hitter on deck and Mike Davis, I would think this would be a time here where Seaver would make Lansford hit his pitch all the way around. If he gets a little behind him, still wouldn't give in to him.
It's the 3rd foul.
Now it's a different story. The obligation has changed. You have to get him out now. And as you mentioned, a very good 2-strike hitter. You kind of wonder who's played into whose hands at this time at bat.
Yeah, it's like Boggs on the other side.
That's right.
0-2 to Carney Lansford. And a 1-ball, 2-strike count. 2 out. Bhakti at second. Just missing for ball 2. 2-2. Fastball just to miss outside, and now a full count to Lansford, who's worked it that way after going 0-2. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
Well, maybe Seaver won't get caught in that trap either. He was sharp. He's been around the grounds a bit.
He's worked just off the plate and in spots. It goes to short, and Canonis dug out again on the backhand by Stenhouse, and that's all for the Oakland half threat in the 6th inning. They leave 1. And after 6 innings of play, Oakland leads 3-2. Through 6 innings here, it is Oakland 3 runs, 4 hits, 1 error. The Red Sox 2 runs, 4 hits, and 1 error. And that just about indicates the way this game has gone. Oakland got 3 runs in the 1st inning, and Seaver's been awfully tough ever since. The Red Sox got their 2 runs on a home run by Gedman with a man. And it's gone along with great dispatch here, Monty. And it could be a short one, or it could be a very long one if the Red Sox could tie it up.
They could indeed. Like that guy's umbrella. Oh, that was a dandy. Some kind of model of a hat. Some type. Couldn't see the logo on it, though. It wasn't green, so I don't think it was an Oakland hat, although it could have been. Evans, Gedman, and Stenhouse here to face the 33-year-old Joaquin Andujar. Andujar brushes Evans back with that first pitch. Dewey in the day 0 for 2. He and Alfredo Griffin have been quite a pair. There's the breaking ball over from Joaquin. 1-1 to Dwight. Andujar gave the Red Sox just 5 hits in his first win against them in Boston. They've had just 4 hits against him here this afternoon. Of course, the 2-run homer by Gedman counting for the Red Sox runs. The American League against Andujar hits just 197 against him. Certainly the Red Sox have not put many dents in that. Low into the dirt. Imagine what Andujar could have done. His record is really something on grass. Of course, this ballpark here, the infield's a little bit slower, certainly slower than what Andujar is accustomed to working in St. Louis and in the National League. Those 41 wins, I told you the last couple of years, 46 over the 3 seasons. Andujar has been. And Alfredo has it go off of his glove. It's short. He had Evans all wired in again, and that ball somehow just eluded the A's shortstop, and the Red Sox have the leadoff man on in the 7th. How about that? That's something you rarely see.
Well, Evans has been playing pepper with him all afternoon. He's been putting him out on good plays last night, and here, this one hit hard. That was the main thing. It hit hard and took that roll, and he could not catch up with it, Griffin, at shortstop.
Alfredo will be charged with the error, allowing Evans to reach. Here's Getty. Tailing fastball outside corner. Well, is a hit. Excuse me. It is a hit indeed. Gedman went for something a little off speed down and in, and he's down in the count, no balls, 2 strikes. So erase the error on Griffin. You credit Evans with a base hit. 5th hit for Boston. To the right side, Bhakti. Griffin. And Andujar on the backside. They'll get the double play, and I wonder if Andujar either got spiked or could he have aggravated that hamstring pull. At any rate, it goes 3-6-1 on the double play.
Ball hit sharply by Gedman, and that, of course, turned it into the double play easily, as Bhakti was right there on the grass to start the play. Gets it here. Griffin's return throw to Andujar. There, he got the inside of the bag. Lane, the only way he could have hurt it maybe was to jam it or hurt the leg, the hamstring leg.
It didn't look as if he'd gotten tangled up over there at all. Tony La Russa is going to check on him quickly. A noticeable limp, though, after he cleared himself from the bag, and certainly he got the inside part of the bag to avoid the spike. I'm not sure which ankle he hurt in his comeback. He was going under some simulated game conditions. It was his left ankle that was hurt. He seemed to be favoring the right one, the one that hit the bag with, so apparently he's all right.
Seems to be all right according to La Russa. Here it comes again. He's got the inside bag, then gets the foot off in a hurry. Seems to limp right there.
So at any rate, the hit is erased quickly by that 3-6-1 double play. The bases are empty for Stenhouse. Andujar low with that one, ball 1. Mike on the day 0 for 2. He's been in the outfield twice, fairly deep his first time into left field. Lays off the high pitch. Andujar, as I was mentioning before, working on grass. 19-4. You think he doesn't take advantage of throwing up some ground balls and sinkers? 2-0 to Stenhouse. Off speed, now 3-0.
Mike was saying after the game last night, I would like to get on some other way besides a walk. He said, I'd like to help the team out, but those base hits would feel nice.
Well, I don't know. I don't think he'll want to give that one back to him, but he'll have something to talk about again. Yet another walk for the Red Sox first baseman today. He's going to get his chances to play, I think, more and more in this second half. They're going to need to give Buckner a little more time off. And somewhere along the line, they're going to need a Stenhouse-type bat in there anyway on occasion.
Gotta like the way he swings the bat, too. He's certainly been to the warning track a couple of times when he's been given the opportunity.
Shortstop Ray Canona's up. Plays off the Andujar pitch there, and it's 0-1. Joaquin has, well, he's just been kind of tough all day today. He hasn't given the Red Sox an awful lot to work on. That is the first walk that our Andujar has issued. Never been known as a strikeout pitcher throughout his career. I think his career high was something like 147 in 1984. That includes minor leagues and every place else. One ball, one strike to Canones. Tip your hat with that one. Red Sox trailing 3-2 as we play in the top of the 7th inning. 2 down. Stenhouse at first. And that'll do it for the Boston 7th. They have a couple of base runners. One of them on a hit. It was erased in the double play, so they'll leave just one. Do not score in the 7th. Then after 6.5, Andujar and the A's lead Boston 3-2.
As a group, the success of your game at Fenway Park will be enhanced by the pitcher's mound. That's the exclusive function room at Fenway Park. The in-house catering service provides a variety of food and beverage packages to accommodate a wide range of budgets and appetites. There are a limited number of dates available for the months of August, September, and early October, so book your date now by calling 262-1915 between 9 and 5 Monday through Friday.
Come to the West Coast. Red Sox fans are here nonetheless. Quite a few of them in this ballpark last night rooting for Boston. Most of the heroics, though, performed by the A's. In the 7th inning, it'll be Davis, Woolard, and Griffin, the schedule hitters. A little Q-shot roll foul. Seaver today just a smidgen over his career earned run average with those 308 wins, a 2.84 career earned run average. It's almost kind of unbelievable when you think about as many wins and games as Seaver has started, that earned run average would be under 3. And all that time losing less than 200 games, just 199. Davis 0 for 2. Actually, Seaver was born, he grew up in Southern California, I believe. He was born about 180 miles from here in the Bay Area in Fresno, California. They tell me it gets a little warm around Fresno.
Do that. Inland in the valley there.
A little warmer than it is here today. Reached for and foul out of play left field way. The count will hold 1 ball, 2 strikes to the A's right fielder. He's bounced out to Barrett, bounced out to the right side with Seaver covering in the 1st and in the 4th inning. Reached for again. Canones to his left. He'll have to hurry. Not in time. It just looked as if that flow all working to the right field side was not going to get Davis, and it didn't.
A nice play by Canones. He had to reach out, the batter Davis did, and Ray got over there, made that quick, strong throw. He knew he had to put something else on it. Just not enough. And Davis has an infield hit. Good flip, strong throw.
Well, when you talk about inches, you could certainly put that play in your book. Davis really hoofing it down that line, so he'll be on as the leadoff man for the A's here in the 7th inning. That is the 5th hit Seaver has given up. Both teams with 5 hits. Red Sox trailing 3-2. Here's the catcher, Woolard. Boggs in close. That little toss over to first, maybe to find out if Woolard was or was not bunting. strike over. Willard didn't leave any doubt to anybody that time. He squared around well before Seaver was ready to come to the plate, even while Seaver was in the set position. Willard on the day 0 for 1. Cat and mouse game going on now between the pitcher, runner. No bunt attempt that time. That was a check swing strike. And Willard is down to the count. No balls and 2 strikes. Was it on the pitch, he said, or was it on the swing?
Whatever it was a real tie-up job inside on this pitch by Seaver.
This is the spot here that he often goes to that pitch that really runs away from the left-hander, whether it be the change-up type or the hard runner.
With Gedman setting up, too.
When you watch Seaver throughout his career, of course, highlights would be the only thing we would have been able to see very much of. Him spending most of his time in the National League. There's a little runner, gets off the plate outside, 1-2. I found it kind of interesting. I was quizzing him the other day about that particular pitch because I had not noticed him throwing it that much in the past. Thought it was something that maybe he had come up with in the last couple of years to make up for some of the loss in velocity. He said, no, actually, he said, when I started as a pitcher in the minor leagues, he said, I was a hard sinker ball type pitcher. He said, I became a high riding type pitcher after I got to the big leagues and was working with the Mets. So he's always had that one. But if you would jog your memory a bit and you think about highlights that you see of Seaver, you mostly remember him as and see him as a high riding type pitcher, hard slider. Although he could be right around those knees anytime he wanted to be.
For a number of years, he could do anything he wanted.
You're not kidding.
Boy. Year in and year out, such consistency.
He knew every little nook and cranny in that strike zone and knew how to get there. Into center field, base hit for Willard. And the throw to third, not in time. Boy, Davis was in high gear. He had his mind made up as soon as that ball got past an infielder that he was going to third, and it worked for him.
Ball belted into center field. Good pitch to hit by Willard. Had some extension on the arms. Davis headed for third. Little hesitation by Tarver. Then headed toward just over the cutoff man to Boggs. Too late. Runners at first and third.
Bob Stanley hurries to get loose in that Red Sox bullpen now. So the runners will be at the corners. Nobody out in the Oakland 7th inning. They're up by a run. Red Sox infield has to come in tight. Way inside to Alfredo. Mack really doesn't have an option here with Andujar on the mound in the way he has been pitching today. You cannot afford to give him yet another run. With Alfredo Griffin at the plate, you're not apt to double him up. Even if you could give them the other run, you probably would have to keep the inning alive. Low and inside once again, and again hard, 2-0.
Barrett was out motioning for Tarver to come in a little bit in center field. Michelle is a little deep with Griffin up there.
Reached for a little chinker to third. Boggs has it in foul ground. Boy, was that ever close. All Boggs would have been able to do with that one is put it in his pocket.
Davis streaking toward the plate, and the ball just along the line. Reached for by Alfredo. Boggs takes it right there, outside the line. And it's a foul ball. Otherwise, it's a run.
Because of his being off balance, he wouldn't have had anything to do with it. Davis would have scored, and Griffin just kept right on running and talked to Evans if he'd wanted to before Boggs could have gotten rid of it. So it's a 2-1 count now to Alfredo. He would be conscious, of course, of putting that ball in play to the opposite side in the outfield. Carver with not a strong throwing arm, nor does Baylor have one in left. Pulls this one foul. So Seaver's back even in the count with the little shortstop. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Seaver struck out but 1 today. He's looking for number 2 definitely right here. And that's not a very easy order either. Alfredo struck out just 25 times all year. That in well over 300 at bats now. Just a piece of it. This is where the game really gets to be something. The one-on-one right here. The matchup. Davis over at third. Jerry Woolard, the runner at first. Nobody down. That was like a replay of the last pitch.
Exactly.
The same spot, same results. Back checking up and down that lineup. Anybody that he may be involved in making some moves with. A little more interested in what now Lawler has joined Stanley in that bullpen. 2-2 to Alfredo Griffin. To the right side, this time punch foul. Alfredo's addition to this Oakland ball club last year was just an instant success. Popped him up very shallow into left field. Baylor underneath, getting set. Here comes Davis up the line. The throw, not in time, and the A's have the extra run. It's 4-2 now in the bottom of the 7th. So Alfredo, with a good at bat there, gets the job done on the sacrifice fly. He's driven in his 29th run of the year.
Good and bad indeed. With foul balls all over the place till they got a pitch he could drive someplace. He got it into medium shallow left, but Baylor's arm, they run on Baylor's arm, and you knew that Davis was going to, and he beat it rather handily.
Tony Phillips in now with a pitch low and inside on him. With all that going on, of course, Woolard held his ground at first. 1 down now. The double play set in order. But then that's not likely either with Phillips running. Oakland 4, Boston 2. A man out, a man on. Just off the outside edge. 1-1 to Phillips. Phillips on the day 0 for 3. He bounced out to Barrett twice. He's been on a fly ball to right. Awfully big cut there and fouls it away. Outfield shaded around the left for Phillips. Big gap for him right at the 375 mark in right center. There goes the runner. A little chopper down the third base line. Foul. So Woolard will have to backtrack. So will Phillips. Good time for a runner to pick up signs. Mainly because there are not a lot of times that anybody would be watching that third base coach. The runner moseying back to first. Easy for him to get him. Strike 3. They get Phillips. The breaking ball grabs the back door. And that is strikeout number 2 for Seaver. And out number 2 here in the 7th.
Well, might have been a batter late at this point, but he got the strikeout that he needed anyway. Good pitch on the outer edge. No argument on the part of Phillips, and now they're 2 down.
And free swinger, very free swinger, Dwayne Murphy stepping in. He's 0 for 2 with a walk today. Scored a run in that 3-run Oakland first. On the check swing, it was low, ball 1. Seaver very thorough in his getting into the 7th inning, certainly as far as the Red Sox are concerned. 7th time in his last 9 games now, Seaver has worked into the 7th inning, and 10 of his 17 starts, 10 times in his 17 starts, he's gone into the 7th. Trouble here with Murphy, though. 3 balls, no strikes to count. Seaver trailing the Oakland A's 4-2. Seaver only worked into the 7th inning, or through the 7th inning, the first 2 starts for Mac. A lot of pitches in that first effort for Seaver against Toronto when he beat them 9-7. That pitch is too high to Murphy, and he has the walk. And John McNamara is going to make the walk himself in the Red Sox dugout.
Got Canseco coming up, whom they have handled very well so far in the series, but you know it's Canseco, and a mistake can make it an out-of-sight ball game.
Sometimes the manager gets caught a little bit in between. He's talking to Seaver here. The way that Seaver has handled Canseco this afternoon, he has him 0 for 3 right now, although one of those was a bunt attempt. Nevertheless, Seaver couldn't talk him into it or out of it one way or the other. Mac's going to make the pitching change and go for the strong arm of Bob Stanley here in the 7th inning with a run in. And runners at first and second, 2 down.
Well, they're making the change now. Nice hand for Tom Seaver, who did a good job out there after that first inning problem. He really shut the door until they scored here in the 7th. Stanley coming on for the first time since Sunday in Seattle, when in 2/3 of an inning he gave up no hits or runs. Against Oakland, in his dealings with them this year, he's beaten them once and had 2 saves against them. 11-4 lifetime with 13 saves. Stanley making his 43rd relief appearance. He's won 5 and lost 3 with a 4.05 earned run average. He has 14 saves, 53 1/3 innings worked. He has given up 64 hits, 24 earned runs, 15 walks, 37 strikeouts, and has given up 7 homers. And the man he faces first will be Jose Canseco. Stanley is tied for 5th in the American League in saves with those 14, and also with games appeared in, 42 until right now is 43rd.
Still trying to pick up that 100th win. Seaver with a little acknowledgement maybe from a McNamara comment. 6 2/3 innings of work for Seaver, 6 hits, 4 runs, charged with 4 runs, responsible for 2 runners. Canseco against Stanley. The steamer powers it in there, 0-1 to the big right-hander. Seaver walked 3, struck out 2, and had a wild pitch. At the time, that wild pitch a fairly big one in that first inning. Strike 2 on Canseco. That breaking ball really swept across almost the width of the plate. Canseco with a word for Hirschback behind that plate. I'm not so sure he didn't deserve it. They run that sinker in on Canseco again. He fouls it away. Count holds. No balls, 2 strikes. Got him. Went right to the breaking ball 2 times in that sequence. Canseco gone on the strikes. But the A's do damage. An insurance run for them here in the bottom of the 7th inning. You get that run on 2 hits. They leave a couple. And at the end of 7 full innings of play, it's Oakland 4 and Boston 2. Once again tomorrow afternoon, these Red Sox and the A's will go head-to-head here in Oakland, California. Finale of this 3-game series. We'll have it for you. All the action right here on NESN. Al Nipper will be working for the Red Sox. He'll be opposed by the Oakland A's' Dave Stewart. You can join Sean McDonough for a complete Major League update on Red Sox Digest that comes your way at 3 o'clock. Then stay tuned for great baseball action at 3:15 as the Sox and the A's will head up once again live from Oakland. That's on NESN, where we deliver. That's the idea of these afternoon games here, or some of the idea of the afternoon games here in Oakland as we go to the 8th inning. Kind of time, fun for the family to get together and almost make an enjoyable picnic out of it. Dance around the ballpark, have a little fun. They do a lot of modern type things in this ballpark, really. Jazzy music.
Yeah.
Before, during the ball game. A lot of highlights from other big league games that take place in the past week or the past couple of days.
Lots of room to move around, too. On a crowd like this at 14,410, there are some seats and some spaces to roam in for the kids. And I'm quite sure they do. Red Sox are down by 2 as they come up in the 8th inning. And Lachelle Tarver's first up against Andujar. Tarver has grounded to first and struck out. Lansford on the grass at third. Strike 1. And Lachelle belts one to left center for a base hit. Line drive takes the turn. The ball bobbled a little bit by Murphy, but not enough for an extra base. So Tarver leads with a single in the 8th.
Ball a little bit up to Tarver, is it? Yes, sir. Just slaps her right in the left field on a screaming liner. Well, those outfielders, again, play so very shallow. They don't take long, or the ball doesn't take long to get to them. It just doesn't have that far to travel to get to them. You hit it that hard, they're almost right on top of it.
Marty Barrett is the batter. Tarver with some speed at first base. Barrett is 1 for 3. He singled in the 3rd inning. Steve Ontiveros in the bullpen, the right-hander starting along with Von Olen, the left-hander for Oakland. So they've got right and left activity down there. Von Olen, far side. Ontiveros, who had been the main guy with Howell out in your bullpen. Now Jay Howell is back. Barrett is grounded out, singled, and fly to right. Tarver just back, turned and dug in. Four runs, 6 hits, 1 error for the A's. 2 runs, 6 hits, and 1 error for the Red Sox. Andujar has been down around the shoes most of the afternoon. 11 ground balls for 12 outs. 1 double play ball there. Ball gets away. And Tarver down into scoring position. Ball getting by the catcher, Willard.
Like it hit off the thick part of the facing of the glove and just simply got away from him. Got a little piece of the dirt, but no effort at all to go block that ball. He's just trying to catch it.
Tried to snap the glove.
Tough to catch when it bounces like that.
They charge a wild pitch to Andujar. Tarver at second now. And a 1-ball, 1-strike count to Barrett. On the inner edge. 1-2 to Marty. Tough pitch by Andujar.
As a catcher, you don't take anything for granted. You have to kind of expect a lot of pitches to be bad ones, and that enables you to anticipate enough to be able to block them. A lot of balls are tough to block. A lot of balls, sometimes when you block one, you're lucky when you block them. That is not one of them. That is an easy ball to block that the Oakland A's catcher let get by him right there. That's something you put a little mark by and say, you shouldn't let that happen. Now, if that ball bounces out way to my right, maybe hits in one of those holes, and you stop it, you pat yourself on the back. If it goes by, you say, wow, should have had it maybe. But you can't let the easy balls get by you. Those are the costly ones. The ones that are true wild pitches, they're wild pitches. When you stop them, you've done a good job. Those easy ones, you got to stop those. You have to keep the ball in front of you.
And it actually probably could have been scored a pass ball, couldn't it?
Well, technically, I don't know if you could. I guess how the rule goes, because the ball did hit in the dirt.
Yeah.
It's a question of where it hit in the dirt. Was it past the plate or up even? It looked like it was past it to me. Sometimes catchers can handle balls that are thrown low if they just simply take the mitt and move it up a little bit. Catch that ball a little farther up.
Barrett sends one high to center field to Murphy. 1 out. Bluffed by Tarver, a strike by Murphy almost to third base. There's one down and Tarver at second. Red Sox down 4-2, and they're trying to do something about that situation here in the 8th inning with Michelle Tarver at second and one down, and Boggs coming up. Andujar has handled Wade Boggs very well this afternoon. 2 ground balls right to the mound and 1 to second base. Now La Russa coming out. Tight ball game situation. A 2-run lead here with Boggs and Buckner back-to-back coming up.
We don't know the pitch count, and I'm sure that would be a concern. Both those fellas, right-handed, left-handed, are ready down there. They've been throwing well long enough. La Russa would be interested, of course, in the legs of Andujar, and I'm talking about the injury part of the legs. I'm talking about just how strong are your legs. He hasn't been in competition, only his second start since coming back from the disabled list. Still seems to have enough velocity, and the movement, of course, is always there with him.
So he faces Boggs with 1 out. Strike 1. Flogged the fastball through.
Andujar give you a few different looks. He'll give you a big high kick one time, kind of a tight wind up another. The arm drops down, of course, to 3 different locations.
Just goes inside a little bit too much for Wade, and the count is 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, for a long time, all the pitchers that came out of the Dominican Republic, because of Marshall, they all had that big high kick. Marshall, understandably, their idol.
Sure.
They all wanted to look like him. If that high kick got him to the big leagues, maybe it'll help me.
Boggs takes strike 2. So now Andujar is 1-2 with Boggs.
Just like I'm sure there are a lot of kids around America who have watched Boggs hit over the years, one way or the other. Try to do the same thing, maybe employ that inside-out swing if they can. Concentrate on making.
A lot of kids in high school at 1-2 very quickly, taking 2 strikes. Boggs looks low, ball 2, 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out.
Hey, you know, when you're a kid and you played, there was always somebody you either wanted to bat like, or if you were in the field, you wanted to make the flip throws or go to your right or your left one way like someone else did it. Especially pitchers. Pitchers would be the ones that, of course, are always in the center of attraction and maybe a little easier to copy.
Boggs spikes it foul to the left side, and the count remains 2-2.
But the only person you never wanted to be like as a kid would be you didn't want to copy any catchers because nobody wanted to be one.
Who did you like when you were coming up?
I liked them all.
I mean, did you anybody in particular as your kid that you patterned yourself after?
Oh yeah, everybody wanted to be Mickey Mantle when you went to hit. Just hit one-sided though.
Boggs has run the count full, 3-2.
I was around a lot of Double-A baseball players growing up in Nashville, and some pretty good ball players. Tommy Brown used to play with the old Brooklyn Dodgers. Guys later, some players who later went on and became very good players in the big leagues. Jim O'Toole with Cincinnati Reds, Jim Maloney.
Yeah. Good pitchers.
Well, those guys, you bet, hard throwers. John Edwards was the catcher there in Nashville for a while.
Boggs spoils one, fouling it back. The count remains 3-2.
New York Yankees, during my growing up days, belonged to CBS, and that was the only game you saw on Saturday afternoon. If you watched baseball, that was it. And of course, the CBS network was, who else were they going to carry beside the Yankees and whoever else they were playing?
That's right.
You always saw the Yankees and a sundry of other teams who you didn't recognize from 1 month to the next hardly. Of course, you always knew Yogi. You always knew Hector Lopez. Hector Lopez was a guy that always, I liked the way he played because he could play 2 or 3 different places and seemed to get the job done no matter where he played.
Boggs takes the walk. So now the Red Sox have runners at first and second with 1 away. Second walk given up by Andujar. And that's going to be all for Joaquin, as the long walk out there by La Russa means that Andujar will be gone and the left-hander Van Olen is coming on. So Joaquin Andujar, and a good job this afternoon again for the second time against the Red Sox, gets into the 8th inning, goes 7 1/3, and it gives up 6 hits and 2 runs. He's responsible for 2 runners. Both the runs are earned. He walked 2, he struck out 2, and he had a wild pitch. Gets a nice hand from the Oakland fans and waves to them with his hat, and he's through for the afternoon, and a job well done. Leaves it over to Van Olen to try to nail it down for him.
Andujar acknowledging the applause he received from these fans here, and I know La Russa's happy with that effort. There's no reason in the world that Andujar wouldn't be. Stands to pick up his 6th win, of course. Dave Van Olen on now for the A's. This will be his 5th appearance. His record just about covered up with zeros. No wins, no losses. He has no saves. 4 hits given up and only 3 2/3 innings of work. He's walked 3, struck out 3, and there are zeros everywhere else. He has not given up a run in any of those outings. Oh, Tony La Russa thinking one thing right here. Let me go left-hander against left-hander, and my 2-run lead, I hope, can be somewhat safe in that area. Try to use the advantage of the left-hander against a Buckner to certainly keep the ball in the ballpark, although Andujar seemed to be still pretty strong. A little hard to tell when he walked. The only 2 walks he gave up were 1 in the 7th, 1 in the 8th. Certainly he was in command pretty much throughout this ball game. He made that ball do about what he wanted to and when he wanted to do it, except for that 2-run homer by Rich Gedman back in the 4th inning.
About the only mistake he's made, really, and Getty took advantage of it and lost it. But Van Olen now to face Buckner, and Olivares ready down there in case he is being brought in to face Baylor and Evans, if that's the way La Russa wants to operate. The tying run is at first base for the Red Sox. They're in the 8th inning, 1 out, runners at first and second. Van Olen has worked 2/3 of an inning against the Red Sox. He faced Buckner, and Buckner had a bunt into a double play. That was a thing that disgusted Buckner with himself. He was given the bunt to try to get the runners over and dump one down right in front of the plate, and is thrown out. The play was made at third by the catcher, and then over to first to get Buckner to erase 2. That was at Fenway. 0-1. And the curveball for ball 1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Tarver is at second, Boggs at first, 1 out. Von Olen, 27 years old, 6'2", 200-pounder. Had some arm problems last year. And the curveball is hit high in the air into shallow right center field. 3 players over. Davis gives way to Murphy. Dwayne Murphy at the last moment making the catch. And Buckner is out. So there are 2 down now as Von Olen gets Buckner, and here comes La Russa again. The batter will be Don Baylor. And they're going to bring Steve Ontiveros right on now as Von Olen does his job, gets the left-handed hitting Buckner out, and will leave. And Ontiveros will come on to face Don Baylor. So Ontiveros, the new pitcher, and Von Olen getting the hand as he gets the left-hander out, which is what the Red Sox have been doing most of this season with Joe Sambito. So now it is Ontiveros on for the purpose of getting Don Baylor out.
Ontiveros 1-2 on the year, appearance number 40. Of course, he's been busy with the absence of Jay Howell. 9 saves Onto has been credited with, a 4.59 earned run average. 22 base on balls, 50 strikeouts, 9 home runs given up. One of them a home run to Don Baylor here on a Saturday afternoon when the Red Sox were in Oakland first. And of course, that was in an extra inning ball game, but you have to remember that La Russa wasn't here. He didn't see it. Probably doesn't even know about it. Probably could care less. It's a different situation all the way around. And certainly a more rested Ontiveros we're seeing this afternoon than we saw then. In that particular appearance, Ontiveros had made something like 4 appearances in about 5 days and needed some time off. That was just after the A's had lost the services of Jay Howell. They didn't have any, Jackie Moore at that time didn't have any choice but to try to use Ontiveros as much as he could to try to become a stopper. This Oakland Ball Club had one stretch this year, lost 28 out of 35. So that gives you the idea of what those short people out of that bullpen, and I'm talking about short relievers, can do out of that bullpen for you to help save some of that action. More than half of the A's losses this year, 57 of them, or actually more than half of the 57 losses they have been by 2 runs or less. So now how important can the absence of a short man show up on your ball club? Certainly, you figure a third of those maybe would have kept you in the ball game, maybe turned into wins.
Well, Ontiveros has really worked hard, as you mentioned. He was going kind of middle to long, not long, but middle to short sometimes. A wave by Baylor for a strike. Don Baylor in this one has 1 hit in 3 times, a single in the 4th inning, and he scored a run. Trying to pick up the runner or runners at first and second. Fouls it back and quickly falls behind Ontiveros. 0-2. Baylor grounded to shortstop in the 1st inning, got the single in the 4th, and popped to shortstop in the 6th. It's a 1-ball, 2-strike count to Don. Oakland leading 4-2, 2 outs in the 8th inning and 2 on for Boston. Struck him out. So La Russa pulls the right strings in the 8th inning and gets the right pitchers in for the right batters and gets out of trouble. The Red Sox leave 2, and after 7.5, it is 4-2 Oakland. Bruce Bochy first up against Bob Stanley. Bottom of the 8th inning. Oakland leading 4-2. Bochy has singled and doubled in 3 trips. Singled to left and doubled to right. And a strike. Stanley came on to relieve Seaver with 2 out and a couple on in the 7th inning, 1 run in, and struck out the 1 man he faced, Jose Canseco. Pop-up. Right side of the infield, Stenhouse and Barrett. Barrett calls Mike off and makes the grab. So Bakhti's down. There's one out in the 8th.
Designated hitter, Dave Kingman.
Dave Kingman up. Had a very important single back in the first inning when Oakland got 3 of its 4 runs. He singled home 2 runs with 2 out, and at that time, very big hit. Still is. Down quickly to Boggs. One knee. Kingman's gone. 3 times subsequently. He has grounded twice to Boggs and once to Canonis.
It was one of those times, I'm sure, when Kingman hits a ball this hard, he'd like to just stand at the plate. He knows he's got no chance. Boggs with just all kinds of time. Yeah, there's Kingman.
Carney Lansford taking a strike from Stanley. Jay Howell, just back off the disabled list and ready to throw it, is warming in the bullpen now for Oakland. Fly ball, right field. Dwight Evans has it, and a 1-2-3 inning for Stanley. We go to the top of the 9th inning and last call for the Red Sox with a score: Oakland 4 and Boston 2. It's the top of the 9th inning. The Red Sox trail by a pair of runs. Trying to get back in this thing against Olivares. Evans, Gedman, and Stenhouse will be the hitters. Red Sox got their 2 runs on the 2-run homer by Rich Gedman in the 4th inning. Stopped pretty well by Andujar, and then the tandem relief in the 8th inning worked perfectly. Von Olen against Buckner got him, and Olivares got Baylor. Dwight Evans. Evans 1 for 3, single to left field in the 7th. Off the glove, it was actually. It was off the glove of Griffin. A funny hop out into left field. The pitch is low and away to Dwight for a ball. Left-hander Dave Leeper has joined Howell in the bullpen for Oakland. Snaps a strike over. 1 ball, 1 strike to Dwight. There's Leeper, the left-hander. Howell. Fly ball, right center field, and calling for it, Mike Davis. The right fielder puts it away. 1 out. Game has breezed right along this afternoon, starting at a little after 3:15, or well, 12:15 Oakland time. It's not quite 2:45 yet. Gedman, a 2-run homer in the 4th. 1 for 3. He's hit into a double play, and he's lined to center. Foul ball. This ballpark, a scene of many late inning histrionics by each team. Of course, Oakland has done it a lot of times, pulled the game out, but the Red Sox also have come back here and sent games into extra innings. There have been some very interesting contests here in this ballpark. Gedman slowly to short. Griffin throws him out. They're 2 away. So if they're going to do any histrionics now, it better be done immediately, started by Mike Stenhouse, because the Red Sox are down to their last out. Stenhouse has flied to left, flied deep to center, and walked. One ball, no strikes to Mike. Canonis on deck. And that's the fastball on the outside corner. 1-1. Tomorrow afternoon, Al Nipper against Dave Stewart in the last game of this series. And the final appearance of the Red Sox here in Oakland this year. 2 balls, 1 strike. And that's a strike 2. Dipping's pitch away from him. Now it's 2-2, and the crowd wants the strikeout to end it. Down low for a ball. Full count to Stenhouse, 3-2. That was the breaking ball. Time called. Willard wants something done. Maybe get straight what he wants to do on this 3-2 pitch to Mike Stenhouse. Stenhouse has had a pretty good idea of getting the bat on the ball despite a low average. He's had all the walks. He's got the good eye. He has struck out 4 times. Walked 10. And digs in for the 3-2 count. Check swing, grounder to third, slowly hit. Lansford with a couple of running steps gets him with a nice strong throw. And that's all for the Red Sox in the 9th and in the ball game. Nothing across. Final score, Oakland 4, the Red Sox 2. We'll wrap it up with our instant replay in a moment.